भूषणम् श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यं वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकं लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भां नाथयामुनमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां यो नित्यम् अच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुग्मव्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये। माता पिता युवतयस्तनया विभूतिः सर्वं यदेव नियमेन मदन्वयानाम् आद्यस्य कुलपते वकुलाभिरामं श्रीमत्तदन्वियुगलं प्रणमामि मूर्ध्ना भूतं सरश्च महदाह्वय हठनाथ श्रीभक्तिसार कुलशेखर योगिवाहान् भक्ताङ्गिरेणुपरकाल यतीन्द्रमिश्रान् श्रीमत्पराङ्कुशमुनिं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम्। पूजन्तं रामनामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखा वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलं वाल्मीके मुनिसिंहस्य कवितावनचारिणः शृण्वन् रामकथानाथं को न याति परागतिं वेदते परे पुंसि जानते दशरथात्मजे वेदप्राचेन सदासि साक्षात् रामायणात्मना अञ्जनानन्दनं वीरं जानकीशोकनाशनं कपीशम् अक्षरन्तारं वन्दे लङ्का भयङ्करं मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। आञ्जनेयमलिपाटलानं काञ्चनाद्रिकमनीयविग्रहं पारिजाततरुमूलवासिनं भावयामि पवमाननन्दनं यत्र यत्र रघुनाथकीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं बाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमत राक्षसान्तकम्। श्रीगुरु चरण सरोज जय निज मन मुकुर सुधार वरणो रघुबर विमल जसु जो दायक फलचार बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरो पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन वरण विराज सुदेश कानन कुंडल कुंचित केश हाथ वज्र ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी Srimad Ramayana is essentially one of our ancient, most revered, authenticated scripture. You would call any scripture authentic if it comes from the right person. Tamil, there is one saying, Satan Vedam Odadu. So, even if it is Vedam, it comes from Satan, we don't treat it that much well. Whereas, Ramayana has come from the son of Mother Earth, who was Valmiki Maharshi. Bhakti Vailakshanyam is an integral part of any scripture. What is Bhakti Vailakshanyam? Bhakta, the one who utters, the one who speaks, the one who composes, he should have certain necessary attributes in him. So that is Bhakti Vailakshanyam. Valmiki had it. Next, Shrotri Vailakshanyam. Listeners should have it. If Bhagavad Gita was composed and recited by Lord Krishna himself, he was the Bhakta. But who was the Shrota? The great Arjuna. We far away think that Arjuna is a person like us. Had we been on the war field, still the Lord would have not chosen us to listen to Bhagavad Gita then. It was always Arjuna because he was Buddha Kesha. The Lord is called Krishi Kesha, not Rishikesh. Rishika Kesh nahi. Krishi Kesh. Krishikam means Indri. Pancha Indri jo bolte hain. The 5 senses is called as Krishikam in Sanskrit. The one who has won over the senses is called Krishikesha. Hence the Lord is called Krishikesha. A name of the Lord which is similar in meaning, the one who has controlled his senses. I spoke about that yesterday. After 1 hour 35 minutes, very good. Jitendriyaha. When Tara praised the Lord, what did she say? Tvam aprameyascha, durasadascha, uttama dharmikascha, akshaya kirtischa, jitendriyascha, kshitikshamavan kshatajopamaksha. Jitendriyaha, the one who has had victory over Indriyas. Krishna was called Krishikesha. Who did listen to Bhagavad Gita? Arjuna. Arjuna was called Buddha Kesha. Buddha means sleep. One who has won over sleep is called Buddha Kesha. When Krishna is reciting 700 verses, he did not sleep. That itself is a major thing. See, in Bhagavad Gita, if we listen to the meaning itself, it puts us to confusion. Imagine Krishna is just uttering the verses and not explaining the meaning. Then it will be all the more confusing for Arjuna. Yet he did not sleep. Buddha Kesha. Likewise, Ramayana was uttered by Valmiki, taught to the sons of Rama called Lava and Kusha, and they explained the importance of Ramayana. And who heard it? Rama heard it himself. Rama was the audience. So, the Shrotri Vailakshanyam. Who heard Ramayana? Ravana. About whom it is? Rama. So, about Rama was heard by Rama and uttered by the sons of Rama, composed by the Bhakta of Rama called Valmiki. So, it is the Ramamayam entirely. Hence, in this Ramayana, day 1, we had the experience of Sita Rama Vivaham, Kalyanam. Kalyanam in Sanskrit essentially means any auspicious event. It doesn't have to denote the marriage. Any auspicious event is called Kalyanam. But amongst the many auspicious events, we celebrate and spend the maximum money only on marriage. So that is what is treated very important. So we often make that common noun Kalyanam as a proper noun marriage. So Vivaham of Rama Sita happened on day 1. The coronation of Bharata with the holy sandals of the Lord, Paduka Pattabhishekam, happened on day 2. Day 3, salvation, moksham for 2 great people. One was a scavenger called Jatayu. Second was a hermit-like, ascetic-like woman who lived in the forest called Shabari. Day 4. Yesterday we spoke about the death of Vali, meted at the hands of Rama, and the coronation of Sugriva in Kishkinda called Sugriva Pattabhishekam. Now we have completed Balakandam, Ayodhya Kandam, Aranya Kandam, Kishkinda Kandam. Today we are in Sundara Kandam. We had already seen the first scene of Sundara Kandam. Generally, people who are used to watching series, they will remember these words in Tamil. Iduvarai, ini, Todarum. So, Iduvarai means what they have shown till the last day. Ini, what will come today. And Todarum, don't leave the television without watching. Tomorrow also we will visit your house. So, that is what most of the directors of series and serials would like to state. Likewise, here we have seen the initial scene of Sundara Kandam. Hanuman, who was seated along with the monkeys at the outset of a cave in a Parvatam called as Mahindragiri, which is in the current day called as Tirukkurungudi. These names may be tough. So if you want to note them, you can note them and you can still see that hill. And as a testimony to the fact that monkeys went, you can find many monkeys even there today. So, this Parvatam can be seen even today. And Hanuman was seated there. That is meant by the advice of the elder brother of Jatayu. What was his name? Very good. Sampati. Tadvada Karnarodya Garudujava Sampati Sampadi Vakya Protirna Notinati Nagiri Janakajam Vikshadatvam Mudiyam Pradyudyodyana Shapana Chanarana Shodavanto Dashasyam Vishva Pushpa Jalakam Jati Sahanuman Mauridatnam Dadaute. Narayana Bhattatri in Srimad Narayaniyam summarizes this incident in this shloka. So upon hearing the words of Sampati, Hanuman was ready upon the motivation of Jambavan to fly towards Lanka. That is when there is a small background that is given about Hanuman. There was a damsel called as Punjikasthala. We know of the famous few Uruvashi, Menaka, Ramba, Tilotama. They were the great dancers of those days, and they had signed small-time projects with Indra. So only in his court they have to dance. So he had an artist agreement. So they will dance only in his court. One other famous damsel who is lesser known to us was Punjikasthala. So when Punjikasthala used to dance before Indra, Indra used to get very happy. Indra is generally happy after entertainment, he cannot fight. So whenever Punjikasthala used to dance, he used to keep looking at her. But the beauty was, Punjikasthala's side eye glances used to fall upon a demigod called Vayu. She liked Vayu. So it was like the 12th night, if you have read that of Shakespeare. So he likes her, she likes him. So in this case, one day Vayu and Punjikasthala came down to earth. And from Amaravati Patnam, they spoke to Naidu and they came to this place. And then they went to a water theme park. And then they started sprinkling water over each other when you have many water leaks. While doing so, inadvertently the water that she wanted to sprinkle on Vayu fell on the face of the Rishi who was doing penance. And you know, Rishis in those days, they will get angry for little things. And if they curse, that will come true. So he said, you are exhibiting monkey-like pranks, so you will be born as a monkey. I don't know how many curses we have got. Thank God we don't know what all curses people are giving to us. So, that is why they say do Sharanagati. If you do Sharanagati, you don't have to worry about all this. At least you will be rest assured that we don't have to be born again. So imagine now we are at least in a Janma where I am able to talk about Sundarakanda and you are able to listen to Sundarakanda. Imagine we don't have one such Janma. The next Janma, because of our higher sin account, if we have to get some other Janma, it will be very pathetic to even imagine. So it is better we do Sharanagati. Nevertheless, getting back to the topic, Anjana Devi was born as a result of it. She was born in a monkey clan. In those days, even monkeys had various categories. Learned monkeys, literate monkeys, illiterate monkeys. There were many such categories. Now don't ask me if you can find such categories today. Human beings itself, it is very tough to find categories. So, in those days, Anjana belonged to a royal clan of monkeys. They all lived in Kishkinda Rajya. They were slightly, see, humans cannot include them in their category because they have tails. Monkeys could not include them in their category because they have brains. So there were monkeys with brains and humans with tails. That is why the Va of the extra letter has been added to the Naraha, which made it Va Naraha. Now, Anjana Devi was married to the lion amongst the monkeys, not the lion. Lion amongst the monkeys. You know the difference between lion amongst monkeys and lion? Lion amongst monkeys means he is also a monkey. But amongst the monkeys, he proves his balance. So he is a lion. So he was called Kesari. In Sanskrit, Kesari has two meanings. One, the pollen that is found in a flower is called Kesari. The stamen has pollens, right? That is called Kesari. The other meaning of Kesari is means lion. In Tamil, Kesari means the sweet. So for us, the moment we say Kesari, we think only of the sweet. So it has other meaning which is lion. Because in those days, whenever they used to serve food in our matham, they recite shlokas and they will serve. And in most of the Perumal temples, more than worshipping the Lord, the prasadam will be of greater value. So when the person keeps serving Kesari and we are reciting shlokas, we would say Kavita, Kesarina, Venkatana, Virachita, Kesarina, he will understand what to serve. So Kesari was the lion amongst the monkeys and he was married to Anjana Devi. They wanted a child. So she prayed to Lord Shiva. At the same time, she was impregnated by Vayu. So in those days, it was like a test tube baby. So this child was a Aurasaputra and a Kshetrajna. In those days, you have four, five concepts of how children can be born. One out of their own, and second with the help of a demigod. So he was born with the help by impregnation of Vayu. At the same time, through Kesari. So the moment he was born, Anjana wanted to call him by name. What name can she call? She thought for some time. She would not have called him Hanuman. It is very wrong because Hanuman means the one who has got a fractured cheekbone. See, exactly not the cheek, exactly not the chin. The intermediate part between the cheek and the chin is called Hanu in Sanskrit. Hanuman means one who has got a fractured this part, cheekbone. See, no mother, even in the wildest of the dreams, will call her son, the one with the fractured cheekbone. She would not have called him Hanuman. Anjaneya, that is Anjaneya. Anjaneya kadayadu. Anjaneya. So he would not have been Anjaneya at birth because Anjana's putra is Anjaneya. Even if I were Anjana's putra, my name will also be Anjaneya. So it is not Anjaneya. What would have been his original name? Sundara. This child's original name was Sundara. This is what the mother coined. Now we may wonder, he is a monkey. How can he be Sundara? Kaakaikum, Tankunju, Ponkunju. For a mother crow, even the little one she has will be like Mr. World. So you cannot question that mother. She will give the tiara only to that child. So, we think of three women standing there, one after putting the tiara, she will faint. She will wonder why I have been given this title, I am not fit for this, so she will faint. So she has been trained that way. This is not the Mr. Beauty contest. For a mother, the child is good. So she called it Sundara. Hence, this canto, which primarily involves the role of Hanuman, is called Sundara Kandam. Sundare, Sundari Sita, Sundare, Sundari Katha, Sundare, Sundari Lanka, Sundare, Kimna Sundaram, Sundare, Sundari Sita, Akshata Marude Mukhat, Shrutva, Krishnaha, Tathaivastu Saramaha Satatam Krili. This is a shlokam by a great commentator called Tilaka, who states that this is called Sundara Kandam for the following reasons. Because the message of assurance, the message that I am there for you, was conveyed by Sundara Rama to Sundari Sita, who was housed in Sundara Lanka in a Sundara fashion by the messenger who was called Sundara. Hence this Kandam is called Sundara Kandam, says the poet. So Hanuman, when he was Sundara, a little boy, his mother used to give him curd rice. Now you should not ask him. You should not ask me, how do you know it is curd rice? Puranam states it is curd rice. I can't help it. Even Krishna had curd rice, says Shukabhrahma. Vibhradvedum jatarapataya shuddhavetye chakakshe vamepanam masrina kabalam tatphalam amyudishu, states Shukabhrahma. In Bhagavatam it is said masrina kabadam. Masrina kabadam means ball of curd rice. That is called masrina kabadam in Sanskrit. So he was given curd rice. Now you may ask, now you are talking only about rice. Wasn't there chapati those days? But Chamakam talks about it. Goduma chame. So Goduma is an essential component. But he was given curd rice. Now when he was given curd rice, generally if you go to residents of Bombay and ask, Mumbai and ask, I am giving you a choice between Moksham and Apus. Mango. They will choose Apus. Because they feel this is Pratyaksha Moksha. Right? What you see is Pratyaksha. Who will think about the other moksha which you will get at the end of your life? So, Ichuvaitha Virayan Koi Piralogamalu Machuvaitha Virinum Pende Apus Padam Virupadapi. So, Apus is generally suited for most of them, and many have the habit of consuming purely cut sweet mango with curd rice. Many have this unique combination. Now, Hanuman was having curd rice, his mother was feeding him. Even Krishna used to be fed with curd rice. But Devaki repents over it. Devaki says, how unfortunate I am that all the pleasure what a mother can take out of the pastimes of Krishna has been experienced by Yashoda and not me. Yashodai nangai pettu ponade neenda adishilin nichal. When Krishna used to consume curd rice, he used to consume half and used to spit out the other half. So Yashoda used to take the remaining spitted portion and she used to put it inside the mouth. So she had the fortune of consuming what was left over by the Lord directly. Devaki repents over it. Here Anjana Devi is feeding her little boy Sundara with curd rice. Now the child wants a mango. It was not mango season. Nowadays, no, fruits have no season. Throughout the year you get all fruits. Either you will manufacture them or they will keep themselves. So whichever way we can do it. So in those days you have to tell that this is not the season, that is the season. So she was wondering, where did I go for the mango? She said, wait, I will try to bring something for you. She went. Now the child looked at the rising sun. The rising sun spreads a reddish hue in the sky. This goes by the quantum physics thought called as Schrödinger equation. Let's not be worried about Schrödinger equation now. As per religion, it is believed that Surya's Sarathi is Aruna. Aruna is the driver to Surya, and Aruna itself means the one with red in color. So before you see the person who is seated behind in the car, you will see the driver first. That is why you see the rising sun with the reddish hue. So the moment the child saw the reddish hue associated with the yellowness of the sun, the child thought it is a mango. So he went flying towards the sun, says the shlokam. Abhyuditham tataha suryam balo drishva mahavani phalam cheti jidukshustvam mullutyaha adbhutoga udgato divam. He flew towards the sun. Annamacharya, the Telugu poet, celebrates this. He says that Hanuman thought the young sun, the small sun, the Bala sun to be a fruit. Sun in Sanskrit is called Arkaha. He is called by many names, Kapihi, Arkaha, Adityaha, so on. Now, Arkaha, that is why when the sun's rays fall in a certain angle in a temple, angle in Sanskrit is Konam. So, in a certain Konam, if the Arkaha sun's rays falls, it is called Kona Arkam Konark. If you go to Odisha, you find the sun temple, right? Kona Arkaha Konark. Arkaha is sun. So, this little child thought that the young sun is the fruit. Balaka bimbamu paramani patina alai chetala hanumantaya tunari brahma nunache varapuru uriche konina o hanumanta manga puti hanumanta nismarana mangarim chiti hanumanta manga puti hanumanta balaka bimbamu bala arka bimbamu phalamani patti. He thought it is the phalam, the fruit, and flew. Indra was now witnessing this little boy flying towards the sun, because this child had the innate ability to fly for having been impregnated in his mother's womb by Vayu. So that was an innate talent that came in him. So he was flying. So Indra thought that this child is going to come and harm the sun which is under his jurisdiction. So he took his Vajrayudam and hit the child. So it touched upon this place which is the interlude between the cheek and the chin. So this child had a fracture and he fell unconscious on the ground. That is when the mother was so worried, she called all the gods and demigods to help. So that is when Vayu ensured that his composition in air is close to 20% oxygen, but that came down to 10%. So people had a lot of breathing problems. So that is when Brahma requested that Vayu would please keep flowing in the same composition and help the other living beings survive. That is when each deity started blessing this little child with a boon. If you remember the days of school, when the teacher used to come on the first day, she will ask, all of you stand up, each one tell me your name, and you will have to tell what you want to be. First standard child, what will the child be? It will be clueless. Yet in India, you will have to answer what you want to be even in first standard. So the child is, first child is the one who, the first role, he will stand and say, I want to become an engineer. After doing that course also, I don't know what it means. So, but the child is now telling, I want to become an engineer. Next, the child will say, I want to become an auditor. Third will say, I want to become a doctor. The fourth one doesn't know any other option but the three. So he will start repeating one of the three. So he will end up having many engineers. The last child's answer will seem so redundant to the class. Likewise, every demigod blessed this little child with a boon. Last in the line was standing Surya. He said, I don't have any boon to offer. That is when the mother said, see, my child is being admitted to every school. But people say he is very hyperactive and they give him transfer certificate. You know transfer certificate? TC. So they are giving him TC. So we don't know what to do. You please handle my child. Surya said, I can handle, I can teach him. But the only problem is, I keep running. See, imagine, Surya goes around the Meru Parvatam as per our Shastram. He goes around the Meru. That is why we say, Meroho Uttare Parshve, Meroho Dakshine Parshve. So, Kundra Shurman. So, the sun goes around the Meru. So, Surya said, in my Ratham, I have a wheel called Samvatsaram, and my Sarathi will take me once a year throughout in a round. So your son has to learn from me. But imagine the teacher is running. When the teacher is stationary itself, the child learning is a process. Now the teacher is also running, the student also has to run like a marathon, and then how is it possible? But the mother said this is the kind of teacher he wants because he keeps running. So the teacher should also run along with him. So let him learn. By doing so, this child could grasp 9 forms of grammar. Navabhyakarana Panditaha. At the end of which Surya asked, very happy with the way you have learned. Then Hanuman said, see sir, I need to give you some Guru Dakshina. He said, being a good student itself is a great Guru Dakshina these days, so I don't need anything. We would have been happy and would have said, okay, thank you, and we would have come. But Hanuman insisted that he take Guru Dakshina. That is when Surya tells, okay, give me one Dakshina where my Amsha Sugriva is always being politically advised by you. Because my son is not as intelligent as you, so you please advise him. So Hanuman became the political advisor to Sugriva. Now Hanuman is the one who has now become the messenger of Rama, and he is now standing in Mahendragiri. That is when he starts growing in state. First, he salutes his Acharya. Anjalim Pramukham Kurvan. And I will try to read as many shlokas as possible from Sundara Kandam, more than other cantos. The reason being, in those days, especially in Vaishnava Sampradaya, there is no concept of looking at the horoscopes before marriage. In traditional families, we will not look into horoscopes. What they will do is, if a horoscope comes to the house, they will not open it. They will keep before the Lord, open the Sundara Kanda Pustakam. If it falls in a sargam which denotes good phalan, then they will go ahead even without looking at the horoscope. This is what I have seen personally in many families whom I know. So Sundara Kandam's every shlokam is like a ratnam. So I want to ensure that the phalan, the fruit of having heard Sundara Kanda shlokas should reach everyone. I will try to read as many shlokas as possible. Anjalim pramukham kurvan pavanayatmayonaye tato hiva vridhe dantum dakshino dakshinam disham sasuryaya mahendraya pavanaya swayam bhuve bhutebhyaschachalim kritva chakara gavane matim. He saluted his mother, he saluted his father, he saluted his guru, and then looking southwards, he started flying. That is when we saw that he propelled like a rocket. He did not take off like a flight. He propelled like a rocket. When a rocket is being propelled, there is spark that is emanated at the bottom. The scientists who have designed it will be seated in a room, in a glass room, and they will be counting 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and there it goes. So then you will see the shrubs and the herbs that are surrounded the rocket will be uprooted, will go to a certain distance and fall due to the gravitational pull. Likewise, when Hanuman jumped from Mahendragiri upwards, the surrounding shrubs and plants went to a certain distance along with him and fell. Like the guests who are being dropped by the host 7 steps outside the house. So this is what he tells, and that is when Hanuman starts flying and he crosses the ocean. Yesha parvata sankashaha Hanuman marutatmajaha tidirshati mahavegaha samudram varunalayam. There he looked like a beautiful lightning that comes in the dark clouds. Imagine there are dark clouds and Hanuman is going at a lightning speed. It looked as if the lightning had cut on the dark clouds in the sky. That is when he flew and he saw a parvatam arising. He saw a mountain coming out of the ocean. So he tried cascading. He tried going to the left. The mountain extended to the left. He tried going to the right. The mountain came to the right. Then he thought he needs to give the mountain a shot. He gave a shot and the mountain said, I am the one who is called Mainaka. In those days, mountains are believed to have had wings. So Indra, who was afraid that these mountains could harm him, he started chopping off the wings of the mountains and all of them became stationary. I, as a mountain with wings, went and surrendered to the feet of Vayu, your father. Your father protected me and placed me inside these oceans. So I am very grateful to your father. Now that I cannot express my gratitude to the father, I thought this is the apt moment for me to express the gratitude towards Vayu's son who is you. Why don't you stay in my mountain? There are many caves, 3 days, 2 nights, 9 nights only. Why don't you go and stay? Hanuman said, my vision, mission, goal and objective is to see Sita, is to seek her blessings, is to convey the message of Rama and to bring back the message of Sita to Rama. This is my vision, mission, goal and objective. So I do not want that to be an impediment when I have rest in you. So understand this, he states. What does this incident indicate? Sundara Kandam is a huge message for our lives. If you have thought that this is your mission, proceed with it. But at the same time, don't ever have wavering thoughts. Life is full of wavering thoughts. The moment you think of an option, you can never do it. Of course, we need to think before making decisions. But once we take decisions, we should stand by it. We should know how to live with it. So Hanuman knew how to live with it. Tadakruddhaha sahasrakshaha parvatanam shatakratuhu pakshams chichera vajrena tadaha shatasahasrashaha Pritosmi kritam atithyam manyuveshopaniyatam varade karyakalo me adaschapyati vaddare pratignya chamaya datta nasthatavahi mantaya vidyuktva panina shailam alabhya haripungavaha. That moment, this Hanuman hugged that mountain and said, see, you have given me space to stay in your mountain. I have no time for that. Now I am hugging you. Think this act of hugging to be the one where I have stayed in your house. This is equivalent to staying in your house, said Hanuman, and he flew further. That is when he saw a Nagamata called Surasa who opened her mouth and said, Tiye Yanalaya Pashipini, I am very hungry. Hanuman said, you should go to various food outlets. Why are you telling me? She said, no, I am very hungry. I want to consume you. Hanuman tells, see, I am a monkey. Monkey's flesh can never be consumed by any human being. It is not of a very good quality also. Why do you want to consume? He asked. She said, I am from the neighboring country, so I can consume. She said, because China is being mentioned by Kalidasa in his works. 2000 years before, he talks about Chinam Shukaihi. He talks about the flag in Ayodhya that has the silk of China. So 2000 years before, Kalidasa makes a mention of it. So nothing new. So if silk has to be mentioned, then monkey's flesh would have also been in practice. So that is when Hanuman tells, you cannot consume me, and she insists that I have to consume you. That is when Hanuman asked, come with your statement again. She said, I am hungry. You need to get inside me. Hanuman said, mark your words, you said I need to get inside you. So what she did was she started opening her mouth. Mamabhakshya pradishtastvam Ishwaraiva narshabha aham tvam भक्षयिष्यामि प्रतिषेधं ममाननम् वरयेष पुरा दत्तः मम धात्रेति सत्वर व्यादाय वक्त्रं विपुलं स्थिता सा मारुते पुरः. Now she started opening her mouth. Her lower jaw was fixed. Her upper jaw started extending. Started getting opened even wider. Hanuman started increasing his height. As she opened her mouth, he started increasing. So they were directly proportional. So she opened to such an extent that her upper jaw went like this, and her eyes, instead of looking straight, started looking like this. That is when Hanuman, who was standing in front with a huge gigantic size, thought for a while. He thought, what did she say? I need to get inside her mouth. She never made a condition that I should not get outside her mouth. So what he did was, he took the size of a thumb, Angushtamatra Purushaha, and went inside her mouth and came out. She was wondering, I asked you to get inside. Yes, that is what I have done. But he said, see, you said you cannot, you never said that I should not get out of your mouth. That is why I took. So he took the size of a thumb. Sukshma Rupa Dhari Sriyamidhava Rupa Dhari Lanka Jarava Bhima Rupa Dhari Asura Samare Ramachandra Ke Raja Savare Laya Sajivana Lakshmana Jiyaye Shri Raghuvira Harashi Muralaye Raghupati Kini Bahut Badai Tuma Mama Priya Bharat Samabhai Sahas Varana Tumaro Jasa Kave Asa Kahi Shripati Kanda Lagave Sanakadika Brahmadi Munisa Narada Sarada Saida Isa Yamakubera Digpala Jahane Kaligorida Kahi Sake Kahane Tuma Upakara Sugriva Ikina Rama Milaya Raja Padadina Rama Lakshmana Janaki Jai Bolo Hanuman Ki Rama Lakshmana Janaki Jai Bolo Hanuman Ki. Hanuman took the size of a thumb. That is when Valmiki mentions Tat Drishva Vyadikam Swastham Vayuputraha Sabuddhiman. The intelligent Hanuman thought of a solution instantly. That is when intelligence is then turned or converted as smartness. You then call some people, he is intelligent, but that guy is smart. What is the difference? Intelligence is acquired through knowledge which is from sources like books, movies, experiences. But smartness means the mind that can apply that intelligence when time needed. So it becomes very important. For example, you may want to make Vatappadam. You know what Vatappadam is? You will have to take oil and then you will have to put mustard seeds as a potato. Then you will have to put the podi, and the recipe could vary, don't worry. So Malika Badrinath's recipe is different from mine. So you put all this and then you can put various things. You can put aplam, you can put dried kottavaranga. What is kottavaranga in English? Bunch avaraka. Kottavaranga. So you can put all this and you can heat it together. After a certain point, it has to come to a concentrated form. But certain times, even for great books, it will not come in a concentrated form. Smart people, they will put little flour in water and put that inside. It will be melting. This is called smartness. So the recipe is intelligence. Adding this is called smartness. So Hanuman was very smart. Vayuputraha sa buddhiman. So whenever you think of this, you will remember Artha siddhi harisreshtha Gaccha saumya yatha sukham Samanaya cha vaidehi Raghavena mahatmana. But there is no harm in thinking of Vatapadu when you think of this incident. But if you think of Vatapadu, you should not forget this incident. Many people will forget the incident and remember only the Vatapadu. And it is So you should remember the incident with the example. So Surasa, the Nagamata, who then noticed Hanuman's intellect, said, I have come as a person, as the agent of the celestials to test your perseverance. Now I have found that you are very intelligent. May you be victorious, she said. Next, as Hanuman was flying, he felt that somebody was attracting him by the shadow. Chayayam drihyamanayam chintayamasa vanaraha. Somebody was pulling him by the shadow. He looked down who it is. It was a real demoness called as Simhika. So Simhika was standing there to pull Hanuman. That is when Hanuman goes and he wants to annihilate her. How will he destroy her? He thought of Rama and thought that Rama's name, the auspicious name of Rama, is the weapon that everyone can carry, not by the second amendment. So the weapon that everyone can carry safely. So he took that weapon and gave Ramanamam and knocked at her and she fell dead. That is why Ramanamam is a weapon, states Tyagaraja. He says, the first day I mentioned, 3 characteristics necessary for a Rama Bhakta. When Ramayana is being recited, a true Rama Bhakta will get goosebumps. If the person is not reciting well, he will not get it. So first. Second, you should have the mudra of Rama Bhakta. You should have the tattoo of Rama Bhakta. Third, you should have the weapon called as Ramanamam. Romancha mahane kanakam chukamu Rama bhaktu dane muravi Ramanama mahane vara khankami vi Ramanama mahane vara khankami vi Rajillu neyya Raju nige Banduri Polu Vigavaya Rama Banduri Polu Vigavaya Rama Ramanamam meaning Varakhankam. So this Ramanamam is the weapon and Hanuman handled that demoness that efficiently. So Hanuman had to cross 3 obstacles, 3 vighram, 3 impediments from going from Bharatadesham to Lanka. First was a mountain called Mainakam. Second, Nagamata Surasa. Third was a Rakshasi called Simhika. The first obstacle called Mainakam, the mountain, was not actually an impediment. It was a love impediment. He wanted to express his love and gratitude. That was the first obstacle. Second obstacle, Surasa Nagamata, sent by the celestials to test the intellect, smartness and perseverance in Hanuman. Third, Simhika, the real-time obstacle who had come to act as an impediment to Hanuman's vision. So there are 3 obstacles. For the first obstacle which came out of love, Hanuman handled it with love. Second, the obstacle that came because of the celestials, Hanuman handled it with his intellect. Third, the obstacle which came in the real time was handled by Hanuman by his faith in the Lord. So everybody in one's life may come across 3 obstacles. If we start a new project, for example, when I had to tell my family that I am going to give discourses, the first worry in any typical South Indian family is ballet Viradama. So for them it is like every month whether we work or not, the salary should come in the account. But their concern is very genuine. For them it is the impediment out of love. Then what should I do? I should tell them, don't worry, whomever I am going to recite, he will take care of me. So the impediment that comes out of love, we need to manage with love. Today, the era being of that of startups, nobody wants to work under anybody. They want people to work under them, that is different. But they want to have their own firm, own venture. So that is when the family will be concerned whether you will have so much of risk. In that case, you need to convince your family with the love. You should not get angry at them. First. Second, if the impediment comes because of the celestials who are trying to test you, don't get impatient. Show your patience and perseverance and continue pursuing what you want. 2. Third, it will be be a real-time obstacle. That is when you need to trust and have faith in the Lord. He will always help rescue you. So these three obstacles one may come across in one's life at various points in time in different order. It doesn't have to come this way. But we need to understand how Sundara Kandam, how Hanuman has handled. Sundara Kandam is not because it is Sundara Kandam. It is not because it is a beautiful Kandam. It is a beautiful Kandam how to lead our daily life. Ramayana, because generally when people ask me for topics in the US, they will ask me, sir, can you give me topics? I generally say Krishna Charitram, Ramayana, Samavataram, Dhruva Charitram. They say, sir, give me something different. How to relax your mind. How to sleep in the night. See, I cannot give lectures on all such topics. For me, where will I go for that material? And see, I am a public speaker, but at the same time, I have learned in a very traditional way from my acharyas. Of course, they taught me in Sanskrit and Tamil. I can come up to an extent of talking in this broken and butler English. But I cannot go anything beyond this and talk about how to sleep, how to wake up, how to lead your daily life. That we should decide ourselves. Why will I tell you how to live your daily life? So I will not get into such topics. For me, topics are again and again Ramayana, Bhagavata, Mahabharata. The audience are intelligent enough to take those things which are required and they can implement it in their life. I don't have to advise somebody when to get up, when to wake up, when to brush, when to drink. Why should we do this ritual? Now it has become a major fashion. Tell me why we are doing this. See, if you want to do, you do that ritual. Else you don't have to do. So now we have reached an instance where knowledge alone is enough. So if I have to talk about every ritual, now if I talk about Sandhya Mandalam or if I talk about Abhivadaye, the moment people hear this, are they going to perform? So it comes up to one's own decision whether to do it or not. Beyond a certain extent, we have information coming on our phone. So as a public speaker and as an Upanyasaka, I will time and again, even if I come after 2 years or 3 years again to Detroit, I will choose another topic like Mahabharata or Bhagavad Gita. I may not be able to choose general topics, when to get up, when to rise, how to keep my, I don't know how to keep all that, I don't know how to deliver also on such topics. Again, it will end up being from Ramayana only. So here we need to understand the importance of our scriptures. The moment we hear Ramayana, that is more than enough to lead our life. This is what my elders have taught me. Here, Hanuman, after having crossed these impediments, he reached in the evening time. It was close to evening and the beginning of night had started. So that is when Hanuman goes, and the moment he reaches Lanka, he reaches the sands on the ocean of Lanka. Then the moment he alights there, he sees the huge golden fortress of Lanka and he takes the form of a cat. Not the size of a cat, not the form of a cat, the size of a cat, and goes inside. That is when he sees a huge trident before him. He looks who is holding it. She was the immigration officer of Lanka. Her name was Lankini. She stood and asked, show me your passport. Why have you come? That is when Hanuman tells, Vananyuvavat pavanani hai Lankaya kananani cha Sarvaro grihya mukhyani Drashtumagamanam ime. Hanuman said, Lankini, you know why I have come? I have heard that Lanka is full of good forests and good springs. I have come as a tourist in tourist visa to see your place. Sarvato grihya mukhyani. I have come to witness the beauty of your country. She said, I will not trust you if you get inside. You see, that time Hanuman tried running, she gave him a shot. Even while he was studying under his teacher, he had not got any such beatings. Now he got a beating from Lankini. He thought, whatever he gets, he should share it again. So he gave one shot to her. He gave one knock to her. That moment, she did not get angry. She was able to remember what she had forgotten. See, in many houses if you go and you ask that mommy, can I use your computer? They will say, use sir. When we sit, that monitor will not work. So we will call that mommy, mommy, what is the problem? She said, no problem. She will give one kick to that monitor and start working. She said, no, mama won't do it. So it may so happen that devices may work when you hit upon them. Even some of them who forget, they will say, Hanuman, they will hit. So the moment Hanuman hit her, she was able to remember what she had forgotten. Muranmudai kurangu kaitaramadana tindi kaitarum varga Chittira nagaram adantin chiraital tinnam, says Kandam. It seems this lady called Lankini, the current immigration officer of Lanka, she was once a damsel in the court of Indra. Again, due to some curse, she had to come to the earth and she was appointed as the immigration officer of Lanka. Before she came down, she asked Brahma, when will I get emancipation? When can I come back to my original state? He said, Muran Kudai Purandu. When one extraordinary monkey comes and hits you, that moment you leave the immigration office and come. So Lankini said, thank God you came and gave me Vimochanam, Hanuman, and she left. So from then on there is no immigration officer in Lanka at all. So he says, Sita Nimittam Yajnastu Ravanasya Duratmanaha Rakshasam Chaiva Sarvesha Vinashaha Samupagataha Tata Pravishya Harisreshthar Purim Ravana Palitam Vidbhasma Sarva Karyani Yani Yani Vanchasi. Now Hanuman got inside Lanka and he saw different houses. Each house was different, built in a different architecture. We say, right, this is Spanish style, this is Gothic architecture. Likewise, Vishwakarma mentions about 4 types of architecture. Chatushalam Chatudvaram Sarvato Bhadra Sanyatam Paschimandvara Rahitam Nadhyavarta Pratam Dudad. In some of the houses in those days, they used to have outlets to the streets on all the 4 directions. Front, east, west and south. So you will have 4 directions. Some they will not have at the backyard, only 3. Some will have at the backyard and the front yard, not the other 2. So each of them have been named and all these types of houses existed there it seems. Then Hanuman saw various instruments being laid in a assembly hall. So he knew that there were great musicians in Lanka. That is when it is night time now. Everybody is sleeping. Silence. That is when Kandam says, Nitta Niyama Todil Mudithu Neduvarathu Uttama Uranginargal Yogigal Tuyindrar Mattamadavan Kadir Urangiyadu Uranga Pittanum Uranginar Nitta Niyama Todil Mudithu Neduvarathu Uttama Uranginargal. In this city of Lanka, who all slept in the night? Kandam says, the yogis who are engaged in Yoga Shastram slept in the night. People who do charity, they slept in the night. The mad elephant that serves, the royal elephant that serves the king, that slept. Even the madman slept. Uranga Pittanum Uranginan. What is the use of telling all this? In those days, to call yourself a good city, there was a major characteristic. In the night time, everybody should sleep. We say, you come to our cities and even in the night time it will be very busy. That means there is something wrong with that city. So why should it be busy in the night time? Everybody has to sleep in night time. Why is it busy? That means there is something wrong. In those days, the characteristic feature of a good city was that city everybody should sleep. There is Oliver Goldsmith, if you have heard of him. He has given the work called The Citizen of the World. It's an ancient classic literature. So there he says, there is one small poem there called A City's Night Piece. So in the City Night Piece, he talks about how London as a city was in the middle of the night. Who all slept in that night and how the city was. He says, the clock has just struck 2. The expiring table rises and sinks in the socket. The watchman forgets the hour in slumber. The drunkard once more fills the destroying bowl. The robber walks his midnight round and the suicide lifts his guilty arm against his own sacred person. See, the watchman, if you remember in the early days in India, we used to have somebody called the Gurkha. What they will do is, they will whistle in the night and they will go. So we will wait for that 10:30, 11, he will whistle and go. After that, he will go and sleep. 12 o'clock, he will also sleep. He is paid to sleep. But before that, he will be giving that whistle sound. So that is the nature. So in London, he says, the robber walks his midnight round and the suicide lifts his guilty arm against his own sacred person. The watchman forgets the hour in slumber, even he is sleeping. Everybody sleeps in London, says the poet. The laborious and the happy are at rest, and nothing wakes but the man in despair. Except the madman, everybody else slept in London at midnight. Kandam tells, everybody, including the madman, slept in Lanka. So thereby telling that in those days, Lanka was a better destination than London. So everybody slept in this place, and that is when Hanuman thinks of Sita, because Hanuman has not seen Sita. See, the plight of Hanuman is very tough. Ram has told him that you will have to meet a woman who is my wife. Hanuman has till then seen only monkey woman. So his idea of a woman was she will have a tail, she will have small eyes, she will have non-expressive eyes. This was his thought. But then he asked Rama, can you describe Sita to me? That is when he says, Avyakta rekham iva chandra rekham Prapsu pradibdham iva hema rekham Kshatra prarudham iva varna rekham Vayu prabhudhnam iva megha rekham. She looks like a completely blemishless, resplendent moon that shines in the night in the sky, with little streaks of dust that is laden over her, says Rama. So now he is thinking, where will I meet that Sita? He goes house after house. Tulasidas in Ramacharita states, Bhavana Ekapuni Dekha Suhava Hari Mandir Nadavinna Vanava Ramana Yudha Ankit Shobha Varina Jare Nava Tulasika Brindadan Dekhi In Ramacharita Tulasidas states that while he was looking at the houses, Hanuman spotted one house which was different from others. It had one Tulasi Mada outside. It had the emblems of Panchayudam on the outside. Whose house it is, he thought. Outside it was written Vibhishan Nivas. So it was Vibhishan's house, says Tulasidas. So Hanuman goes and in the hangar he sees the Pushpaka Vimana. Pushpaka Vimana was the aerial chariot that was seized from Kubera by Ravana. So this was worshipped by Kubera initially. So it had one small temple for Mahalakshmi inside. Niyujyamanas Shagaja Suhasta Sakesaras Chotpala Patrahastaha Babhuva Devi Chakruta Suhasta Lakshmi Sthata Padmi Padmahasta. So he sees this Pushpaka Vimana, he goes inside, he is not able to spot any lady. Again he gets out, then he goes inside Ravana's palace, Ravana Bhavanam, it is written outside. So he gets inside. That is when he sees various Rakshasa trees after having had good many rounds of drinking. They were all sleeping, it seems, says Valmiki. Kinkani jala sankashta eva vipula bhujaha bhavagraha yashastiraha. Their mouths were open like the alligators, it seems. Sukta nadyaiva babhuhu anya vakshasi chanyastha. One lady's foot was lying on the bosom of the other lady, it seems. The other lady's sari was open, it seems. And next to it there were many tins of wine, it seems, and they were all flowing here and there, it seems. Abharatvam manyastha dasyashapya paraguchau. Then he went inside, and that is when he saw one person with great biceps sleeping on the bed. He looked at the person's chest and found scars of Vajrayudam and Airavata's trunks scar. So he knew this must be Ravana. Kanchanandaranasnadho dadaksha samahatmana vikshiptau rakshasendrasya bhukta vishvavijendrupamo Airavata vishana graira vidayan krita pranau vajrodikita pinamsau Vishnu chakra prarikshitau. Then he saw a beautiful lady with lot of jewelry, different kinds of no-making charge jewelry. All she was wearing with so many bangles, and she was sleeping next to this person with great valor. Immediately Hanuman thought, I have seen Sita. So like how a true monkey jumps in joy, he started kissing his tail and started jumping. That is why in those days, when out of one good incident, if people laugh, people say, that means don't exhibit your previous avatar, avatar. So don't jump. And initially in those days, I remember my grandfather telling, before we used to sleep, if we laugh a lot, they'll say, don't laugh and sleep, control your laughter and sleep. I don't know why they said that. Then my grandmother used to tell that you will cry the next night, you will have all such things. But still, they had their own beliefs. When you think about them, you feel so good, even though those beliefs cannot be logically tenable. Though those beliefs may not be acceptable to our rational minds, so-called rational minds. Even then, when you think of those beliefs, you will want those old days to come. There is one song in Tamil, Andanadu Mandidaro. So you will feel like, because life should be a mix of emotional side and logical side. If we keep thinking only about logic, then our existence will become a question mark. Because logic says that only useful people should live on earth. So then our existence will become a question mark if we go logically. Then that is when we need to apply our emotional mind and say, Allah is just so emotional mind has to overrule. So Hanuman started kissing his tail. He started jumping, came down. He went above the pillar, came down. Askodayamasa chuchumba pucham nananda chikrita jagau jagama stambanaroham nivamata bhumau nidarshayam swam prakritim kapina. Valmiki started eating on his head. I thought this Hanuman is such an intelligent character. Prakritim kapina. Finally, he also exhibits the nature of a true monkey. Prakritim kapina. Then Hanuman sits and thinks, this lady cannot be Sita, because Sita, who Ram is curling there, will she be happily dead like this and sleeping next to Ravana? This must not be Sita. He thinks I should search for Sita again and gets inside Ravana's kitchen. It is written Ravana's Madapalli. He gets inside Ravana's Madapalli. Let's see what is cooked there, whether it is Puliyore or whether it is Badhyonam, whether it is Kesari, Akkaravadisi. Let us see what are the items there. What is the menu card? We'll see. Mriganam, Mahishanam, the flesh of deer, which is venison, and that of buffalo. Parahanam cha bhagashaha, that of swine. Tatra yastani mansani, pana bhumau dadarshasah, raghumeshu cha visaleshu, bhajaneshvapya bhakshitan, dadarshaka pishardula, mayuran, even peacock's flesh was cooked. I don't know. In Sri Lanka, it is probably delicacy, I don't know. Kukkutas, thata, even the small birds' flesh was cooked. So this is the Dadhyonam those days. So that is when Hanuman thinks. He starts closing his nose. He cannot tolerate such smells. So he starts closing his nose and he goes around and checks what is there. He is not able to see Sita anywhere. He gets vexed up. Now he thinks, I have seen women in various postures now. He is a Naishtika Brahmachari. He will not generally look at women. He will not sit on the parapet wall. You know what parapet wall is? Small parapet wall. What is it called? Putti Chowd. Putti Chowd he will not sit. So, in those days, they used to call presidency Stella Maris and Pachaya Pass. So he will never go to those bus stops and stand. So he was not bothered about women. But now he is seeing women in various postures. Now he was worried if his brahmacharitvam had taken a beat. Then he thinks, Kamam dushta drishta maya sarva vishvasta ravana striyaha natume manasa kinchid vaikrityam upapadyate manohinetuhu sarvesham indriyanam pravartane shushubha swavasthasu tachame sukhyavasthitam. That is when he thinks, nothing would have happened to my brahmacharitvam, because my aim was not to see this woman. My aim is to search for Sita. I have come on Rama's mission. So even looking at this woman will not hamper my brahmacharitvam. That is when he thinks, now if I am not able to find Sita, if I go and inform Rama that I was not able to find Sita, Rama will commit suicide. If Rama dies, Lakshmana will die. If these two die, Bharata Shatrugna will die. If all the four die, Sugriva will die. If Sugriva dies, Angada, Nadanila, Jambavan will die. If these four die, all the monkeys will die. Then the monkey's wife will die. Then the mothers of the four brothers will die. Then the citizens of Ayodhya will die. Oh my God. My small information of telling them that I have not seen Sita will cause so many deaths. So why don't I search again? This is another message of Sundara Kandam. In our life, we want to learn shlokas. We may have that enlightenment at the age of 55-60. When we take that book, not one word will get inside our mouth. Even if it gets inside, we will not be able to remember. We will immediately want to keep that book away. We should not face that kind of a situation. We should try again and again. So what if we are able to recite looking at the book? There is no harm, but we are still reciting. Learning is a continuous process as per our Shastra. You have to keep on learning. If you remember, there is one anecdote about Socrates. Socrates Because he was a great philosopher, he was thrown into the prison. When he was languishing in the jail, he found the immediate cell which was in which was a folk singer. So this folk singer used to keep on singing. Singers have this generally bad habit. Even I have that. Whenever we are sitting at home, we will keep singing something or the other. We won't be bothered if the other person likes or not. So this folk singer started singing. That is when Socrates asked, "May I know what is your name, sir?" He said, "My name is so and so, I am a folk singer." Socrates said, "Can you please teach me how to sing folk songs?" That folk singer laughed. "Socrates, are you aware that tomorrow you will be given the poison called as hemlock and you will be killed, and tomorrow you are going to die? What is the use of learning today?" Socrates said, "Till date, people may write that Socrates knew this, comma, that, comma, this, comma, that. Today, if I learn folk songs, when they write about me, they will also write this, comma, that, comma, this, comma, that, and folk singing." So learning for me is a continuous process. Even before I will want to learn. So never put a stop. That is when we need to check the perseverance of Hanuman. Vinashe bahavo rosha जीवन प्राप्नोति भद्रकं तस्मात् प्राणान् धरिष्यामि ध्रुवो जीवति संगमः. That is when he jumps forest to forest, garden to garden, and then he thinks, how dare I did not salute and pay my obeisances to the holy feet of Mata Sita. I have come in search of her and I did not perform Sharanagati to her. Then he says, Namostu Ramaya Salakshmanaya Devi Chatasya Janakatmajayai Namostu Rudraendra Yamanilebhyaha Namostu Chandragni Marudganebhyaha. I salute to Mata Sita. That is when Tyagaraja says, Majanaki Cheta Petak Majanaki. He states, why will I not offer my salutations to you? Annamacharya states, Analuluguriya Gaganare Alukula Ulukula Analelumanga Analuluguriya Gaganare. He states in another Kriti how merciful mother is. He states, Shradhikanyakakushri Mahalakshmi Niraja Lagamunaku Nirajanam Jalajakshi Momunaku Chakavarucham Pudaku Nelakuna This is what he states. Muthuswami Dikshita states, Shveta Vibhavasine Shri Kamala Vikamana Bhuta Bhauvya Vilasini Pujita Bhadra Madara Majamalini Malika Bharanadhara Gita Vadya Vinodini Sangita Vadya Vinodini Indira Shita Kirana Nivabaranam Shrita Chinta Manisadana Pidasana Puruha Madhulakata Lalita Lalita Hiranmayim Lakshmi Sada Bhajami. States Dikshita. Dasa, Brother Dasa states, Kanaka Vrishya Karayuta Bare Manade Manava Siddhiya Dore Dinakara Kodi Peshati Modayuva Janakara Lakshmi Varamma Nammumani Saubhagyata Lakshmi Varamma. Pavanasam Shivan states Tariranga Vidil Seguyir Vadmol Sakala Mulahil Kumi Tariramo Ambani Ranga Yani Pugade Ambani Hila Jagan Adamagil Uraitirni. Vedanta Deshika states Kalyananam Avikalidika Vikarunya Sima Nityamoda Nigamavachasam Mauli Mandaramana Sampad Divya Madhu Vijayana Sannidakta Sadame Saisha Devi Sakala Bhuvana Prathana Kamadhenu. Parashara Bhatta states Ullasa Pallavina Parida Saptaloki Nirvaha Gorakita Neva Katakshalina Sriranga Harnyakada Mangala Divareka Srirangaraja Mahishi Srirama Shrayamaha. Hanuman, at that instant, when he was not able to spot Sita, he paid obeisances to her lotus feet, thought of the Ranganayaki of Srirangam, Alameelumanga of Tirupati, of Perundevi of Kanchipuram, of Abhishekavalli of Tirukkandamange, Kandapuranayaki of Tirukkandapuram, of Vedavalli of Tiruvallikeni, of Hemambujavalli of Tiruvahindrapuram, of Pushpavalli of Tirukkovalur, of Navai Mukundanayaki of Tirunavai, of Yedugiri Nachiyar of Melukotte. So he thought of so many goddesses and said, why can't I spot you, mother? He opened his eyes and looked down. The same tree where he was seated was Sita. That is when he says, when he was Rama Bhakta, he had to face 3 impediments. When he thought of Sita, the result is immediate. We can choose which party we want to be of. So, that is when Hanuman thinks, now I am able to see Sita. Ito drakshyami vaidehi Ramadarshana lalasam ityetascha dukkhartam samapadanti yadrichaya. Now I am able to see the Sita, he says. That is when he thinks, how can this be Sita? Tarkayamasa Siteti karanai upabadivihi kriyamana kadatena rakshasa kamarupina. He now thought, this must be Sita for a variety of reasons, because Sita was just looking at one direction. Which direction was it? Ekastha hridayanunam Rameva anupashyati. She presumably thought that Ram will be in that direction. She was looking at that. When Hanuman looked through her eyes, she could see that her devotion for Rama was very explicit. That is when, yesterday if you remember, Ram spotted Hanuman and said, you take the ring. The reason is, Hanuman thought, why is this man lamenting and crying over Sita's abduction? Like his father Dasharatha, he can marry some other lady and stay happily. Now Ram chose that Hanuman should be the one who should see Sita. The moment he saw Sita, he said, Dushkaram kritavan Ramaha hinoya dhanaya prabhu dharayat yatmano deham nashoke navasidati. After having been separated from such a pretty, beautiful, sincere, honest, chasteful wife, if that Rama still happens to stay alive, he must be a heartless person. He should be a heartless person if he still manages to live without Sita. Before seeing Sita, why can't he marry somebody else? The moment he saw Sita, how is Ram still alive after having? This is Sita's effect in Ramayana. That is why Valmiki states, after composing Ramayana, he states, now I have applied the copyright in the name of Ramayana. I should have not done so. I should have called it Sitaya's Charitam Mahadu. I should have called it Sita Charitram and not Ramayana, because it talks about Sita more and less about Rama. It talks about Rama crying. It talks about Rama weeping. Whereas it talks about Sita staying strong in Lanka. So it talks about the valor. So the protagonist is not Rama, it is Sita, says Valmiki. Now Dushkaram kritavan Rama hinoya dhanaya prabhu Now looking at Sita, now Hanuman draws a comparison because he has already seen the hero, Rama. Now he is looking at the heroine. Now he draws the entire screen into two halves. One half it is Sita, one half it is Rama. He starts comparing. This is called jodi making. Generally now there are many competitions. The husband and wife have to register. The wife will stay here, husband will go to an audio proof room. You cannot hear. Then this husband will be asked 5 questions. What does she like? She likes everything. What does she doesn't like? Me. A list of 5 things they will ask. Then the wife will come and perfectly answer these questions well. They'll say, you're the best jodi. Look at the questions. Are they fitting enough to call them a best jodi? For us, jodi works this way. Now, Hanuman started comparing Rama and Sita. Tulya Shila Vayaha Vrittam. Tulya Abhijana Rakshanam. Raghavor Hati Vaidehi. Tanchayam Asidekshanam. What a beautiful shloka. If you relish Sanskrit, you will start hugging Valmiki for the shloka. Tulya Shila Vayaha Vrittam. I will tell you what is the mistake also. Today, the fact is, our forefathers somehow shifted to the Western education system drastically from the Vedic system. So we are all the recipients of no Sanskrit, we are all the recipients of no Tamil, so no Tamil, no Sanskritam, Kannada, Ardha Varate, Telugu not too good to read, Tamil and Bodhanam Bhagavatam. So we are weak in most of the languages. We know English to a reasonable extent, but Valmiki has not given any literature in English sadly. So what we are ultimately dependent is on the translation of those Sanskrit words. So we will end up going to a bookshop. That person will have no relation to Ramayana. He will say, sir, I will get you a book. He will give that book. We will read that book. In that book, I will tell you what will be the translation for this shloka. Tulya Shila Vayo Vrittam Tulya Abhijana Lakshanam. Raghavor Hati Vaidehi Tanchayam Asidekshana. You know how you would have translated? Rama and Sita were equivalent in the following aspects: age, character, family lineage, and eyes. This is what will be stated, which is wrong. You know what this shloka is? Valmiki has done it very beautifully. Hanuman starts comparing Rama and Sita. He first says, Tulya Shila. Tulya in Sanskrit means equivalent. That is why we say Sahasranama Tad Tulyam Ramanama. So Sahasranama's Tulyam is Ramanama. Tulya Shila. So both of them are equivalent in what aspects? Shila, good qualities. Tulya Shila Vayaha, age. See, age also has to be commensurate. For example, if the man and the wife are walking, if I do not know, so the couple should not show the age difference. Vayaha, Vrittam. Vrittam is a character. Both of them exhibit the same character. In certain houses, the husbands will be interested to listen to the discourse. They will come. In certain houses, the wives will come. So, in certain houses, they will come as Divya Dampati. Kamam santu nidakkaram vidagunan padyani padyani naha kasyasmin shatake satam bugatake doshashrutim kshamyati nishpratyuha vishadri jhar chale mochalam deenalambana Divya Dampati daya kallola kolahalaha states Vedanta. So they will come as Divya Dampati. So, Tulya, Shila, Vayaha, Vrittam. Tulya, Abhijana Lakshana. You know what Abhijana Lakshana? Their lineages are good. If you remember, when there existed a concept called arranged marriage in those days, then it has become an extinct phenomenon now. It is the endangered species category. So, no, basically children do not want to trouble their parents. 5'3", 5'7", weak complexion, groggy complexion, clean habits, semen preferred, will contact this number. You know what? So, this is the match that we see. Here, they say Abhijana Lakshana, because in those days, more than the qualification and the looks, they will ask in which family that person has come. That Abhijana Lakshana is very important. His grandfather was a great Pravachana Karta. Then give the, don't even think Kandam to Guru. They will say, but today, if you say that you are giving discourses to Path Guru, you know Thiruparai. How can you know Thiruparai? It has become a disqualification. So, we have So, Tulya Abhijana Lakshana. So, Ram and Sita were from the good lineages. Raghavo Hati Vaidehi. Valmiki tells, it is for this Raghava is this Vaidehi. For this Vaidehi, it is this Raghava. Because Shastram tells in Samudrika Lakshanam, Loke Saundaryada Mitaha Saundarya Divasa Disar Vasahina Na Labhyate. Look at the Samudrika Lakshana Shastram, it tells that for the handsome man, it is very rare that he will get a beautiful wife, it seems. For a beautiful lady, it is very tough to get a handsome man, it seems. You will have to compromise on looks. But then they say, Saundaryadi Madhyana Saundaryadi Sarvavana Anyostu Sarvam Sampannam Niti Vismayate. But the amazing part about Ram and Sita was they matched in all aspects. They didn't have to make compromise. Raghavo Hari Vaidehi. This is where Hanuman stops. So Ram is equivalent to Sita in age, qualities, character, family lineage. He stops. Then he says, Tanchayam Asidekshana. There is where Valmiki has given us a punch. For this beautiful eyed Sita, Ram is equivalent to Sita in age, character, and so on. What does it imply? It means he is equivalent to her in every means except the eyes, where she easily wins over his beauty. Tanchayam Asidekshana. That is why translations can never do justice. This is when we need to understand one anecdote in Vaishnava Sampradayam. In Srirangam, if you know the typical structure, if you have not visited Srirangam, Arangam, Namaram Muddalaram Pesha, Naragayan Narve Ketka, Naragame Shuvargamadu, Namangal, Udayalambi, Avaranur, Thiruvarangam, Yennada, Ayathu. In those days, if there is one dying patient, they will always say Ranga, Ranga, Ranga. Srirangam was the ultimate destination for anybody. But if you go to Srirangam, the beauty is, the temple is not inside the town. The town is inside the temple. So you will have the first prakaram, which is called Adayavalanjan. Next you will have Chitravidhi. Next you will have Uttaravidhi. Next you will have the other four prakarams. The largest functioning temple complex in the world is what they say. But then they say in the US there is another temple which is coming up near New Jersey, which is also as big. But as far as my mathematics measurements go, the Srirangam is the largest functioning temple. And it is completely built of stone and it belongs to various eras. And you will find lakhs of families living inside the temple premises. So typically, you know how a Srirangam resident will be in the retired life. Evening they will go and buy vegetables. So they will get out from their apartment and they will come by the northern corridor, walk to the eastern corridor. It is called Velde Gopuram. Then they will take two bags, put this bag or Peter England bag they take, and then they will go by that side, and then they will cross that Velde Gopuram, and then they will go to Adayavalanjan, buy those vegetables and come back. So this is what is the general rule in Srirangam. So what you may end up is, even if you are going to the market, you will have to cross Mahalakshmi Ranganayaki Taya's Sannadhi. So people will do one salute and they will go. They will get very good vegetables. So that is the effect. Now, Parashara Bhatta, who lived 900 years before as the son of Purattalvar, he was very much attached to Ranganayaki, the goddess there. So he will always visit her shrine, go to the market, buy vegetables, Swayam Pakam, he will cook and he will eat. Never he used to go to the Sanctum Sanctorum of Ranganatha, where the Utsavamurti is called Namdarumal or Alagiya Madavalan. He will not go. The Lord was very much upset because one great personality, celebrity is not coming and meeting him. He felt very bad. So one day previous to Vaikuntha Ekadashi is called Nachiyar Tirukkolam in Srirangam. where the Lord is adorned with the ornaments of Ranganayaki attire. So he will be adorned with a white sari like Mohini, and then he will have a leg folded, one leg extended. He will have a parrot made up of beetle leaves with a beautiful beak, red beak, and he will look too beautiful. So you should have a look at it. It is called Nachiyar Tirkolam or Mohini Alakaram. Very beautiful. And that day alone, when they carry him in the Pallaki, he will walk like a lady and come. Very nice and easy to watch. So the moment the Lord decked himself with all these ornaments of Ranganayaki, he said, go call Parashara Bhatta. Immediately the priest went and called that celebrity poet and said, the Lord is calling you. The poet came and he was astonished to see this lady's beauty. Then the Lord said, so he started looking top to bottom. He looked like a ditto copy of Ranganayaki. But then Parashara Bhatta and he walked. The Lord, he started checking, everything is fine, because I don't have mustache also. What did I laugh? Why did you laugh? He asked. See, everything resembled my mother Ranganayaki except your eyes. Your eyes indicated that you are still Ranganatha because my mother's eyes, both of them are mercy laden. So that is when he says, you cannot look the way at me the way in which my mother Ranganayaki looks. That is why they say Tancharyam Asidekshana. That is when Hanuman said that she has won over now through her mercy laden eyes. That is why Adi Shankara says, Maya Padeda Dihamantharam Ikshanadham Mandala Sancha Maharalaya Kanyakaya. Another place he states, Ishan Nishiradu Maikshanam Ikshanadha Indivarodara Sahodara Indiraya. So looking at Sita, Hanuman now thought, thank God, I have seen Sita. That is when Hanuman starts thinking, what will I go and tell her? What will I go and tell her? Will I go and tell her that I have come from Rama? What can I go and convey to her? That is when he sees the various demonesses who are trying to torture Sita. One is cutting Ravi, one is soda bottle Kabali, one is 7 o'clock blade Shankar. They are all trying to torture Sita. So, Eka Shim Eka Karnam Jam Karnapta Varanam Tatha Akarnam Shanku Karnam Jam. One had only one eye in her face, the other had her mouth in her stomach. Looking at this cruel form, Sita was very much afraid. Lamboshtim Chuduboshtim Cha Lambasyam Lambajaruka. One had a huge tummy. See how Valmiki has criticized all such people. Kraswam, he did not look at me. Kraswam Dirgham Jakubjam Cha Vikatam Vamanam Tatha. That is when Hanuman is looking from the top at Sita and the Rakshasis, Ravana enters that particular Ashoka Vanam. That is called Ashoka Vanika. It was a garden, very exclusive garden that he had maintained as a resort. Even if you go to Lanka today, you can see one hill station called Nuvara area, where there is one temple called Sita area. We took people, about 90 people, on a trip, research trip called Ramayana in Lanka. We took them to over 18 spots, out of which 14 have been related to Ramayana, where Ravana hit Sita, where is the Ashokavanam, where she bathed, where she was asked to perform the test of fire. It is called Divrumpola, Agni Pariksha. There is one place called Divrumpola. Divrumpola in Sinhalese, the language means the place where the oath was taken. Divrumpola. So even today the locals in Panchayati Raj, they will come to that place and do Satya Pramana. So there are so many such places in Lanka. If you go to Indonesia, Bali, the malls are called Ayodhya Mall, Rama Mall and Sita Mall. And any shop you go, even the Muslims who are majority Muslims, when they welcome you, they say Jai Arjuna, Jai Subhadra. They believe that Subhadra and Arjuna came there. So our culture, in Thailand, if you go, the last 2 verses of Tirupavai is recited when the king is being coronated even today. Chitram Chirukale and Banga Kadakadaka is recited for the king's coronation in Thailand. In our Thailand, whether it is recited or not, in Thailand it is recited. So, here, Ravana came inside that particular Vanam. Majida Mridapena Bhamas Samarayo Vajastramuttamam. He started started adjusting his upper garment. He asked his, am I fine? Am I looking good? Then he went before Sita, it seems. Urubhyam udaram chadya. The moment she heard the footsteps of a man coming, she sat like this. You know what this posture is called? It is called Kundukar in Tamil. She sat like this and she did not even look at him. It is said, Urubhyam udaram chadya Bahubhyam chapayodharo Upavishna visalakshi Rudati barabarnini. Ravana comes and says, you are such a beautiful woman. Why don't you look at me? She doesn't reply. Ravana tells, see, if you are marrying me, I will give you various forms of wealth. I will write all the lands that I have bought for investment purpose in your name. So many vacant plots I have got. I have seized them from so many. I will give it to you. Evam chaiva sagamam tvam najasva prakshyami maitihi kamam kama sharire me yatha kamam pravardana. Why do you lament behind that ascetic man Rama? He has lost everything. He has lost his kingdom. He has lost his wealth, and he roams in the forest like a helpless man. And you are crying after him. Nikshipya vijayo ramo gadashvi vanagocharaha bratis thandalina chashankhe jivati vanava. That is when what Sita does is she plucks one blade of grass and keeps it there. Trinamandarada krutva pratyupaja sujismita. Why did she pluck that blade of grass? For this one line, why she plucked the blade of grass, a great commentator called Periyavachan Pillai, 850 years before, mentions 25 reasons why she has kept that blade of grass. Because in Shastram it is said, when a learned person comes in front of you, you should offer him a seat. And if you don't have the facilities to offer him a seat, you have to keep a blade of grass, because a blade of grass is equivalent to a seat. Second, if you do not like a person and you still want, you are forced to talk to him, you have to draw a curtain between you and him. If you don't have the material to draw a curtain, you can keep a blade of grass. Third, Sita kept on advising Ravana. Ravana, you are a very good administrator. You are a learned person. You are a Shiva Bhakta. You are a great Vainika. Why don't you leave me? I am somebody else's wife. She kept on advising. But these went to his deaf ears. So a person who does not improve upon his intelligence and who does not act smartly even upon getting advice is equivalent to a cow which is illiterate and uneducated. What will the cows eat? Grass. That is why she kept a blade of grass. Fourth reason. Sita wanted to remind Ravana, in those days when your ancestors lived called as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, to Hiranyakashipu there was a little boy called Prahlada. When the father asked, where is your Lord? He said, Sarvatra asti sada asti. Then the Lord emerged out of the pillar. Before he could emerge, the little boy said, my Lord rests in this pillar, my father, and he also rests completely in a blade of grass. Hey Ravana, that day my Lord gave us Nrisimha, Satapatala, Bhishane, Sarabhasa, Attahasod Bhate, Spurat Kriti, Parisputat, Brutike, Vimatre Kriti, Kripa, Kapata Kesari, Danja Himba, Tattastana, Saroja Sadusha, Kiti, Vishajyate, Virjate, Mimam Samanasya Samutrito Grato, Nisummarupastadalam Bhayanakam, Pratapta Chamikara Chandalochanam, Spurakata Kesara, Jhumbitanam, Karada, Kamshkam, Karavada, Chanchala, Spurati Jipam, Brukutim Korpanam, Sabdotpagaranam, Girikandharadbutan, Vyataptanasam, Hanubheda Vishanam. My Lord emerged out of the pillar as the man lion called Nrisimha out of the pillar. But to keep up the words of this foremost devotee called Prahlada, today he might emerge out of this blade of grass. That day he came as Nrisimham. Today he will come as Raghava Simham. So she kept the blade of grass. Then she kept the blade of grass and she started advising the blade of grass as if she is advising Ravana. She told, I have been advising you all these days. You have not been listening. At least in your kingdom, probably the grass will have better intelligence than you. So I am thinking, advising you to the blade of grass. Likewise, Periyavachan Pillai showcases 25 reasons. I have very little time for all that. So that is when he tells that you need to be my wife in a month and a half's time. And he leaves. And he tells all the Rakshasis, torture her as much as possible. That is when the moment Ravana leaves, they all come with the soda bottle and 7 o'clock today. That is when Sita is baffled and terrified looking at them. That is when the leader of that group, Dada. Who is that Dada? That Dada is Trijata, the daughter of Vibhishana. She comes and says, "No, all of you, you go there and say, Ekakshi, Shankukarni, you come here. Lambodati, you go there. Don't torture Sita. If you torture her, then her husband will win over Ravana and they will smash us. You go to your original place." They all went. Now Sita started thinking, I'll think of the great women who have been relished and cherished in our literature. If I think of them, probably I may seek solace, she thought. Dinova Rajyahinova Yome Bhatta Same Guru Tam Nityam Anuraktasmi Yatha Suryam Suvarchala Yatha Shachi Mahabhaga Shakram Sampadishthati Arundhati Vasishtham Cha Rohinim Sashinam Yatha Lopamutra Yatha Gastyam Sukanya Chyavanam Yatha Saditri Satyavantam Cha Kavilam Srimati Yatha Sauda Sammadayantiva Keshini Sagaram Yatha Naishadham Damayantiva Bhaini Parimanubrata Tadaha Vikshvaguvaram Ramam Parimanubrata. Like how the great wives in the past have lived, even I would want to live, she thought. That is when Trijata comes and tells, Mata Sita, you know why I drove these demonesses away? I had a dream. You know what I dreamt of? I saw you and Rama dressed in white with the jari material, seated on a golden throne and flying towards the horizon and touching the fresh rays of the sun in the eastern side. Whereas I dreamt of my uncle Ravana being nude, smeared with oil and sitting on a donkey and going in the southern direction. So I am sure that this dream that I have dreamt in the early morning will always give destruction to Ravana and will give success to Rama. So don't take any adverse decision. Trijata said, and she went. That is when Sita thinks, what can I do now? Now that nobody has come from Rama's side, I don't see an iota or a ray of hope. What can I do? So she wanted to commit suicide. So she took a long braid of hair, she tied it around her neck and tied the other portion to the branch of the Simshupa Vriksham, stood on a stone and was about to push that stone away and hang herself. That is when Hanuman, who was seated at the top of the tree, was now thinking, I flew all this distance to meet her. Look at her, she's committing suicide. How can I stop her? Because if he jumps and says, Mata, don't do it. Hearing a monkey speak Sanskrit, she will die out of a mind and die. So he did not know how to convince her. So he thought, what can I do now? Then he thought, now I need to take the name of Ram again. Sarguna Brahma Paratmara Alatmaka Parameshwara Seshatalpa Sukha Nirvritara Brahmadyamara Prathitara Chanda Kirana Kulamardana Srimad Dasharatha Nandana Kausalya Sukhavardhana Vishwamitra Priyadhana Ghoratadaka Ghatagara Marichadini Padagara Kaushikamaga Samrakshakara Srimadahalyo Dharakara Gautama Muni Sampujitara Suramuni Varagana Samstutara Davita Mridupara Nijida Purajana Mohakara Videha Manasaranjakara Embakakarmuka Bhanjakara Sita Pridavara Malikara Krita Vaivahika Kaudukara Bhagavadarpa Vinayakara started narrating. He said, there was a king called Dasharatha who had 4 sons. Of the 4 sons, the eldest was Rama, who killed Subahu, drove away Maricha, killed Tataka, gave emancipation to Ahalya, married Sita by lifting the bow. Then, after having subdued the arrogance of Parashurama, lived for another 12 years happily with Sita in the city of Ayodhya, in the province of Kosala. When he was turning 25, his stepmother Kaikeyi asked for 2 boons. Of one of the boons, she asked the kingdom for her son Bharata, and the other boon, she asked for 14 years of exile for Rama. Along with Rama came his wife Sita and his brother Lakshmana, who had to serve the couple. As they came to the forest, they visited the hermitages of Guha, Sutishna, Sharabhanga, Bharadwaja, and they also went to the hermitage of Agastya and Valmiki. Then the Paduka Pattabhishekam of Bharata was done. They came to a place called Panchavati, which was on the banks of river Godavari. They settled there, lived there happily for some time. That is when Ravana's sister Shurpanakha came. When her nose and ears were chopped off, she went and complained to the brothers who were stationed in a close by region called Janasthana. The Karan and Dushyanth and Krishyas came in a number of 14,000 and attacked Rama, who had married him single-handedly. Then one Rakshasa called Akambara described the valor of Rama to Ravana, where the beauty of Sita was being described by Mandodari to Ravana. That is when Maricha came as a gem-studded golden deer and tried to lure Sita, and Sita asked for the deer. Ram went behind the deer. Then Lakshmana was dispatched by Sita to go behind to protect Rama. That is when Ravana came as a sannyasi, abducted Mata Sita. Jatayu tried protecting her. Till then, Sita knows the story. After this, she doesn't know. That is when Hanuman says, Rama came in search of Sita, and on his way he gave moksham to Jatayu. He was a witness to the moksham of Shabari. He reached Kishkinda region. He had a tie-up with Sugriva. He rescued the wife of Sugriva called Ruma. He coronated Sugriva in Kishkinda. He made Angada the son of Bali as the heir apparent. Then there were 4 sets of monkeys which were dispatched in 4 directions by Sugriva. In the southern direction were Nala, Nila, Jambavan, Angada and Hanuman. Hanuman is the son of Anjaneya and Kesari. He has the ability to fly. He flew from Bharatadesham to Lanka. He searched for Sita everywhere in every nook and corner. He searched for Sita in the harem of the palace of Ravana. Finally he came to Ashokavanam, and in Ashokavanam he jumped 3 quickly, and then he got inside the place where the Simshipa Vriksham is. He stood at the top and he looked at the bottom. That is when he sees Sita. The moment Sita heard this, she looked up, and because it was a running commentary, that is when she heard a live commentary, she looked up and she looked at Hanuman. Hanuman then jumped and said, Mata, I am the messenger of Rama to this place, so please accept me as a messenger. Now she was very vigilant. She had not checked the identity card of Ravana before. That is why she had to face this problem. Now she is asking, how will I know that you are the true messenger of Rama? Then Hanuman said, why don't you test me, Mata? Can you describe the beauty of Rama? She asked. He said, Mata, if I have to compare his eyes to the lotus, then the ladies come and fight with me. Why didn't you compare his eyes with me? Every part of his body that I compare, nature does not have the best component in it for it to be equivalent. So how will I describe his beauty? So Sita then knew that this is the genuine answer, because the genuine answer was you can never describe Rama's beauty. So that is when she says, how will I believe that you have come from Rama? That is when he gives the ring of Rama. That's a beautiful place. Vihitva prekshamanasa bhartukkara vibhushanam bhartaram iva samprapta janaki mudita. So he gives that ring. When he gives the ring, you have to notice in Ramayana there is a sukshmartham. If a person has to give, he will give it this way, and the person who accepts it will take it in this hand. But the moment you keep your hands up like this is called Bhiksha Mudra. Whenever you accept Bhiksha, you will always Bhavati Bhiksha Dehi Tadaiva Mata Bhavati Bhiksha Dehi. This is how you will ask for alms. Alms is Bhiksha. Colloquial word is Pichai. So you ask for Bhiksha like this. Now, if Mata has to keep like this and Hanuman has to keep like this, then it is as if the mother of the entire universe is seeking alms. So Hanuman did not want her to do so. So instead of him giving like this and she taking like this, what Hanuman did was he kept the ring like this. So Sita could take it this way and bypass the route of accepting alms. So such was the Sukshmartham of Hanuman. So when he gave that ring, she accepted. how happy she was. Valmiki states, if it were Ram and Rama's ring on both sides, and if she were asked to choose one, she would have still chosen Rama's ring and not Ram, it seems. She was that happy. Why, asks the commentator? Because this was the ring that was gifted to Ram by her father. So she was at least having the solace. The wealth that he had inherited from his father, he has given it away to his brother and come. At least he is keeping the ring that was gifted by father safely during the Nishchayartham. So this ring reminds her. There is also another anecdote which he reminds. He tells that once on the banks of river Godavari, it seems Ram and Sita had one competition. This is what Hanuman tells. Lakshmana had mentioned about this to me, Mata. Can you treat this as another identity? He asked. She said, narrate it to me. On the banks of Godavari, Ram and Sita had one swimming competition. One has to swim from this bank to the other bank and come back. So whoever comes first is the winner. So Ram and Sita were the participants. Who is the judge? Lakshmana is seated on a rock and he is the judge. He is noting the time. So that is when they start swimming. Ram starts swimming and so does Sita. Ram reaches the other side and he looks at Sita slowly coming. Now he realizes that if he wins, she will get upset. So what he does is he closes his nostril and does pranayama inside. Sita at her own pace, she comes this side, touches, and slowly she goes and touches the other side. Now Ram has realized that she has touched the winning point. Slowly he acts as if he is unable to swim. Lakshmana is noticing what Rama had done for the sake of Sita. The moment Ram comes slowly, Sita thought that Ram did not swim well, like flips. Because these flips are more like Michael. So they are not like Michael. He is swimming in a very ordinary fashion. So Ram comes slowly. That is when Sita remarks, probably I have heard, Rama, that you have learnt very well from Vasishtha. I don't think your training is sufficient. You are not swimming as well as me. Now, Sita thought that she had genuinely won and Ram had lost. But Lakshmana knew that it was Ram who was to win, but he wanted Sita to win. And Rama was aware that Sita was unaware that Lakshmana was aware. So this is the triangular anecdote that is stated by Valmiki. Now looking at this, Lakshmana started laughing at Sita. Rama started laughing at Lakshmana. And Sita started laughing at Rama. So now today when Hanuman states this, Sita starts shedding tears. She tells Hanuman, those were golden days. I don't know what calamity has struck me. Today I am away from my husband and my dear son-like brother-in-law. I don't know what calamity I have committed in my life. What mistake I have committed in my life. Next, this ring is being given. What is the anecdote for this ring? Valmiki Ramayana, Govindaraja states, it seems, Ram and Sita were once playing the game of, Paramapadam. Have you heard of this play called Paramapadam? It is like snakes and ladder. So, as you roll the dice, it has to go to the top. If luck favors you, you will go by the ladder. Oh, wait, it's a palm. So, this is Paramapadam. So this is one game that generally in those days they used to take. Ram and Sita were playing. They were rolling the dice. Akshat Pashyanti Shushudishu Paridah Suri Brindem Nasadham Madhye Krityas Triguna Palakam Nirmita Stana Vedam Vishwadisha Pranayini Sada Vikramadhyuta Vrittau Brahmesha Dhyadaladivayor Akshasara Pracharam. As they rolled the dice, Ram was in the verge of losing. Sita was on the verge of winning. Ram can never accept defeat. So what he did was he did some movement and the dice started shaking. And then Sita, what are you doing, Ram? She asked. By the time he moved this side and by mistake, inadvertently, he had to erase her tilakam. Sita is a very sensitive person. She will give lot of importance for this tilakam. So what she did was she stopped talking to Ram for 3 days. She did not talk to him at all. And Ram thought, for such small things, if she gets angry, even I am not going to talk. And he stopped talking. Lakshmana was unaware of this tip. Every day, Sita would always, with the already existing heavy load of work that he is doing, he now has to be the messenger between the two. Sita will tell, go tell your brother this. And his brother will tell, go tell Sita this. Lakshmana thought, why should I get in between the couple? And he went to the forest to pick up good material. That is when Sita and Ram were seated on the banks of river Godavari on the sands. Now Ram could not resist from talking to Sita. So he took that engagement ring and slowly put it in the sands and covered it and said, see, my engagement ring is missing. Janaka Maharaja gave it to me. If there is somebody who can pick that up and search and give it, it is good. There is nobody there except Sita. So Sita was worried. Her father has gifted this ring. So she started searching and she got the ring and said, Swami, here Aryaputra, here is your ring. Immediately Ram said, oh, you got that ring? How did you get it? Very good, nice ring. And they started talking. So this is the anecdote that Govindaraja says. Now Sita is thinking, that day when me and my husband did not speak, it was this insentient ring that brought us together. Today, when I did not have even the slightest ray of hope if my husband will come and relieve me, it is the same ring that comes and gives me that relief. So I want to hug this ring. Hitva Prikshamanasa Bhartukka Vibhushanam Bhartaram Ivasamprapta Janaki Udita. Then Hanuman tells, Mata, it is high time, Mata. You sit at my back. I will tie you at my back and you will go. I will take you safely. I said, no, I will not. Do you think that I am a helpless woman, Hanuman? Bhasma bhasma tejasa. If I want to put this Lanka to ashes, I can do it by just one word. But if I do so, then my husband will not have fame in this world. He has to come and protect me. No, Mata, you sit behind me. No, Hanuman, if I sit behind you, then and if you fly, and besides these demons when they follow you, where will you keep me and fly? There is no Kachativu also to keep. Where will you keep me? That is when Hanuman tells nothing, no problem, Mata, I will fly like Garuda. So my speed cannot be matched by these demons. So don't worry. No, Hanuman, you know what people will say? See, look at this Sita, she is going behind some other man. They will talk. Mata, don't talk like that. In Desmabalam, there are so many mothers who sit behind their sons in the scooty and go. Something like that. So what is the harm in that? That is when Sita says that is not the true fact, Hanuman. Tomorrow, when people speak about Ramayana, what will they say? You know, Sita was brought from Bharatadesham to Lanka Bhumi by one demon called Ravana. She was taken from Lanka Bhumi to Bharatadesham by one monkey called Hanuman. Poor Rama was a spectator. So what is the use of reciting Ramayana when Rama has no role? He is the one who should come and protect me. Then only people will dedicate 6 days and Balaji will become great days. So for those 6 days, he has to come and protect me, she said. So Hanuman said, okay, Mata, but now you will have to tell me certain incidents which I can go and tell. Now Ram will also ask me whether you have seen Sita. So if I have seen some other different Sita, what can I do? So I have to understand if I have met the right Sita. Now he will ask for incidents, what can I do? Then she said, wait. And she gave the gem-studded hair clip from Pondi Bazaar. If you go to Pondi Bazaar, you can find many Chudamanis. It will be like a Gajendra Moksha Vrittantam. See, that elephant's feet were caught by the jaws of the crocodile, right? It will be like this. So you have got many clips like that. So this is a gem-studded hair clip called Chudamani. So the hair clip is called Chudamani, not the next door mommy. Mommy has kept the clip's name. So this Chudamani was given by Sita to Hanuman. So Hanuman accepted it with reverence and he asked Mata, do you have any private incident that you can share? She said 2. 1. Hanuman, when Rama and me were living happily in Chitrakuta, when Rama was sleeping on my lap, that is when Indra's son, Crow, came and pierced my bosom. Who is this crow? One is Indra and Indrani, they were walking in their garden. They saw one male crow and female crow in the love-making process. So Indra said, why don't we also do so? That is when Indrani said, this is evening time, we should not do. Then he disguised himself as a crow and she disguised herself as a she-crow and they gave birth to an egg. And this egg hatched and gave birth to the son of Indra called Kakasura. Though he was a Sura, he acted like an Asura called Kaka. And Kakasura was allotted room number 101 in Indraloka. 102 was allotted to the recently arrived Dasharatha, Rama's father, he had come to heaven right after his death. So he was given 102. 101 and 102 had a common balcony. So for tea in the morning, they used to go outside and sit. That is when Dasharatha was inquired by this crow son of Indra. He asked, who are you? He said, I am Dasharatha. I was the ruler of Ayodhya. I had one very good son called Rama. He was married to a very good Gunavati and a very beautiful lady called Sita. That is when this Kaka started listening to Sita's beauty and came to Chitrakuta and started piercing her. The moment it pierced her, blood started oozing, and being a sensitive lady, she could not withstand that pain. When she started trembling, Rama got up and he looked up and he saw on the branch was seated a crow with a beak with blood dripping. He knew what would have transpired. He took one blade of grass and uttered a mantra of Brahma and made it a Brahmastra and fired it at that Kaka. That is why Vedanta Rishikant says, Patti Mudaramavachil Pariyanakku Kudamal Yettishayum Udannodi Idaitholum Kadampol Muttitharum Nagaredil Mukkiyamam Kachidannil Atthiri Aruladakku Adaikkalam Naan Mundene. From Adaikkalapattu of Vedanta Deshika, which every person who has done Bharanyasam and Prapatti should recite. Adaikkalapattu, if you know Tamil, it is very easy, very beautiful. So the last two pasurams is generally recited for Shastri. In childhood we used to think, oh, this is the time that we will be getting prasadam. So the last two pasurams indicate Shastri Pasuram and we will be ready with that yale. When my grandfather used to take 2 hours to recite slokams in the house, we used to wait, when will he complete? Manamali, Kari, Shadri, so we used to wait for the last verse of Sahasranam to come. So those were all days when people used to adhere to a certain daily routine. Now we don't have a daily routine concept at all. Enniki namakku time kedaikradha annikku dhaan Krishna porakam. Krishna Janmashtami cannot be celebrated when he was born. When we are free, that becomes a day of Krishna Janmashtami. We have to adjust as per us. So we have to do a cesarean till then. We have to wait. Then only when we want to live, we can do a C-section and take Krishna out. So here, this Kaka went to all the 3 birds. It went to his father's house, Indraloka, but Indra did not let, because Indra was attached to the Lord, who was once his younger brother called Vamana, Upendra. His mother Shachi did not allow, because he had committed a greater sin to the Mata of the universe, Sita. So nobody gave him asylum. The bird went to all the places and surrendered at the feet of Rama. That is when Rama wanted to kill, and Sita said, don't kill and take away one eye. Attirame Adankannai Aruttadum Or Adayalam, says Periyalvar. So, you remember I spoke about this for 15 minutes on day 1 in the first 1 hour. Then I had to talk about Kritagnaha. If you remember the 3rd Gunam, Porasmin Sampatam Loge Gunavan, Tascha Vidyavan, Dharmajnaha, Kritagnaha, the 4th Gunam. So it is very important that we relate to all the days. Should be able to relate. Then only you will be able to spread this message to others. See, ultimately our religion is not a religion which believes in giving $100 to one and bringing in them inside. This is a religion which believes that one needs to come to this fold naturally without any force. The philosophy should impress that person, and if that person is interested, they should come. You don't coax someone. This day you have to come. That day you have to do. Any day, anywhere, whichever format. So anywhere, there is no one specific day that we have to play. Any day you can play. There is no one specific time you have to do. Any time, even in the middle of the night, if you want to think of the Lord, you can think. Third, you don't have to follow any niyamam. See, Draupadi, when she was in her periods, she was pulled to the court of Hastinapura and she was dragged and she recited the name of the Lord. So the timing does not matter to recite. Ekavastra, Vishadhina states Vyasa. Raktochida, her blood was flowing and she was dragged, and then she recited the name of the Lord. So reciting the name of the Lord by anybody, anytime, anywhere. This is the ATM, original ATM. Any time you can get mercy. So this is very important, and this is a religion which believes in spreading the message. So it is very important that we remember and we tell others. Ramayana is not for time pass. Ramayana is a serious grantham. It has to be revered as one of our shastram. Like how a marketing person will read Kotler, like how a chemistry person will read Morrison and Boyd. Likewise, for any person who seeks salvation, Valmiki's Ramayana is as precious as that. It should not be treated as a time pass material. It is very important. Then only it will stay in our mind. How much respect we have towards that book, it is directly proportional to the retention power of that person. If you have immense respect, you will be able to remember immensely, says Vedanta Rishita. Now, this Kakasura Vrittantam, Sita tells, go and tell this to Rama. Second, she tells, if you remember, there is a Kandam verse. He says, Andriyamai karam patriya vaikalva inda ipiravikku irumadare and sindayalum today. On the first night after we got married, Hanuman, you know what happened? My father had given me many gem-studded ornaments. I went inside the room. Ram said, come here, and he wanted to touch me. I said, don't touch Ram. Ram was surprised. First night itself she created so much of problem. Why is she like this? That is when Sita told Rama, when you stepped inside Michila Nagaram, your feet touched upon a stone and it turned into a lady. My father has decked me with stone-studded jewels. If you touch me and every stone turns into a woman, what will I do? What she meant was, you are ultimately D Rama, Dasharatha Rama. Your father has married 350 times. How sure am I? He said, you will not marry many more women and you will give them 102 and 103. That is when Ram said, in this avataram, I will not think of another woman even by my thoughts. Not by marriage, even by my thoughts I will not think. But he was very clear, in this avatar. See, you should be very vigilant with your commitment because the next avatar he rejected no application. Anybody who says, Krishna, I want to marry you, done. Ready-made, he will have a Mangalya Sutra. He is the own priest. So, Sita, she tells, you go and inform this that he promised to me that he will be a Ekadara Pati, one wife husband he will be. So Hanuman goes, Sita tells, whatever you want you consume and go. That is when he jumps from one plantation to the other, he destroys all the plants, eats the bananas, the Rakshasis come and catch it, they are not able to. Ravana sends his son called as Akshakumara. Akshakumara is being killed, Akshahantaram. That is when Indrajit comes. Indrajit is the valorous son of Ravana, who had won over Indra. So he shoots a Brahmastra at Hanuman. But the boon was Brahmastra could not do anything to Hanuman. But Brahma being a very senior citizen. See, Brahma is always a senior citizen. In any drama, Brahma alone will be given white beard. I don't know white. Poor Brahma. All the four heads will have white beard. Narada white beard. They will have a huge matted locks. So Brahma is treated as a senior citizen. He is above 50 years. That is why we say Adya Brahmana Vidya Paradhe Shvedavara Kalpe. Remember what he is saying? Adya Brahmana Vidya Paradhe Shvedavara Kalpe Vaikasvata Manmantare Ashtavimshatitame Kaliyuge Pratame Bhari Jambur Vive Bharata Varshe Bharata Kande. I don't know what Kandam is what Ramayana Dweepam, I don't know where, because that is where Kaliya is, probably that would be South America. Anaconda is there, right? Because Krishna sent me to Ramayana Dweepam. He said, leave this Vrindavan and go to Ramayana. Ramayana could be South America, which last in Brazil, what something. So, Adya Brahmana, the current Brahma, the second 50. So, Brahma is senior citizen. So, Hanuman wanted to respect Brahma. He acted as if he had succumbed to the pressure of Brahmastra. So, a thin rope of Brahmastra lightly tied Hanuman. Till he was tied, the demonesses were worried and running hither and thither. The moment this thin rope tied Hanuman, which was again out of his desire, the ogresses, the demonesses got really happy. So they started pulling the chains from various places. One tried to pull the Mangalya Sutram, one tried to pull the rope from the well. They all came and they started tying Hanuman. But Valmiki reveals one beautiful concept. The moment the ordinary ropes were tied into Hanuman, the Brahmastra rope went out by itself. Shanapanar Kanda Brahmastiram Pole. Because Brahmam's Astram. Brahma's Astram is Brahmastram, but he thinks of Brahmam. So Brahmam's Astram, when it ties a person, ordinary rope should not be there. And if ordinary rope is tied, Brahmam will lead. If you surrender to the feet of the Lord, He will take care. Our confidence and our desire that He will protect will always protect us. Our acharyas, my acharyas, again and again they would say in Kalasheva, have confidence, whatever he does, he will do it for your good. Don't doubt him, that will protect us. Then comes the problem. That but is not a word that our Shastra will answer. That very moment, Indrajit took Hanuman to the court of Ravana. Ravana said, kill this monkey immediately. That is when Vibhishana stood and said, it is not right to kill an ambassador, an envoy, a messenger. So you may want to hurt him. Why Vibhishana wanted to tell? Because Vibhishana knew that Rama is a Bhakta Vatsalaha. He gives importance to his devotees. If somebody does harm to his devotees, he will not tolerate. So he said, you burn the tail of Hanuman. So all the garments from all garment shop were tied to Hanuman's tail, and it was dipped in ghee. And then he lit fire to Hanuman's tail. Hanuman's mother had taught, whatever you get, you share it with others. He started sharing it with entire Lanka, barring the houses where pregnant women, old women, little children and innocent men were. He burned the rest of the Lanka. So the entire city was burning and it looked by the city by day, not even by night. So Ravana did not know what to do. Meanwhile, the demonesses went and informed, Sita, you know, one monkey came and spoke to you and you were talking in a very clandestine fashion to that monkey. That monkey's tail has been burned. That time Sita thought, poor Hanuman, he came like a son. Oh, Yadime Pativrata Nari. If I have ever been always true to my family and my husband, Shido Bhava Hanumataha, let his tail be cooled this very moment. Hanuman felt that his tail was in Volta's AC because it was Sita's effect. That is when Hanuman, he now thinks when he is flying, oh my God, I have burnt the entire Lanka without this basic thought that my Mata Sita is in Lanka. What would have happened to her? While he was just contemplating on that, a few wandering people called the Charanas were passing by. They said, how amazing it is. One Charana said to the other one asked, why are you calling it amazing? Look, Hanuman has burned the entire Lanka, but except the tree called Simshupa Vriksham where Sita is seated, everything else is burning. That is when Hanuman thought, thank God, nothing has happened to Sita. He flies back. Meanwhile, the 69,999 monkeys under the biggest and guidance of a bear king called Jambavan, they were waiting. Oh, what has happened? Whether Hanuman has seen, they were perplexed and confused. That is when they heard the tremor and the voice of Hanuman. They did not see him, just the voice. That very moment, Jambavan told the monkeys, listen, Hanuman has seen Sita. Asked, how can you listen to this voice and say that Hanuman has seen Sita? He says that tone and tenor is enough. This child goes for examination. Mother is expecting for the child to come. The child says, Amma, pass. Amma, pay the examination fees again. Getting that word, the tone and tenor can tell all the result. So Hanuman was so excited. So each of the monkeys were excited as if they had themselves seen Sita. So what Hanuman did was he took all of them to a vineyard where many grapes were being fermented. So he gave them the juice. This vineyard, Draksha Rasam, was actually owned by Sugriva for investment purpose. He had bought this vineyard and he had kept his uncle Dadhimukha as the caretaker. So this Dadhimukha tried resisting the monkeys, but you know the monkeys, 69,999 monkeys, they started pinching, biting, pushing, kicking. So he was unable to bear the excruciating pain and he went away. And these monkeys started dancing. Gayanti kechid, pranavanti kechid, after this party was over, Hanuman brought them to Bellari district of Karnataka. That is when Ram was seated, Lakshmana was standing, Sugriva was seated. Sugriva's uncle Dajimukha came first. He said, Sugriva, look at my body, all this has been done by Hanuman and his monkeys. The moment he heard this news from Dajimukha, Sugriva turned towards Rama and said, be rest assured, Hanuman has seen Sita. Ram said, look at your uncle, he is bleeding, looking at his posture, you are telling Hanuman has seen Sita. He said, without a good reason, Hanuman will not throw a party. So you need a good reason to throw a party. So he said, why? Now comes a question. When Ram was anxious to receive the information that Hanuman had seen Sita, why should Hanuman take all the monkeys to the vineyard and then bring them here? This was the question asked by one Sishya to Parashara Bhatta 850 years before. Acharya said, because had Hanuman brought all the 70,000 monkeys directly to Rama, out of the excitement that Hanuman had seen Sita, each monkey would have given a pat at Ram's back. So one pat, okay. Imagine one pat from every monkey, 70,000 pats. Then Rama's hip would have not survived back. So to protect Rama's back, Hanuman took them through a speed breaker called as Madhuvanam. This is the answer for Valmiki Ramayana. States the commentator. That is when Hanuman comes, Ram looks at Hanuman, expecting a reply. Hanuman says, Krishna Sita, Kande Sridhar. Look at the way he describes. That is the best quality of a speaker. You ask the person, sir, I heard you are going to Tirupati. Went to Tirupati? You know what? We went to India. We took one car. And then we fixed up for the car. The travel person came half an hour late. Then we packed idlis. Then we took probably gunpowder. And then we sat. Then we crossed the rainy Kutta. Then we crossed Alipeti, Seshachala, Garudachala, Simhachala. We went all to the hills. We took a party. You know, we got a party. Morning we got up. Then we took bath, then we bought the tickets, then we went and stood in the line, we crossed each cage, Bhuku, Bhuvaha, Swaha, Maha, Raha, Ramaha, then we crossed the bridge, then we went alongside the mall, then we left all our materials outside, then we went under the Gopuram, then we crossed the Rangamandapam, then we crossed the Dwajastambam, then we crossed the Varadara Sanadi, we crossed the Garuda Alvar Sanadi, we saw the Dwarapalakas, then we saw the Kulashekar Alvar Padi, and we went and closed our eyes. So, my question was whether you are seeing. The answer is yes or no. So, a bad speaker will always give irrelevant information. Whereas Hanuman was so good, he did not say, I went, I crossed Mainasam, I saw Surasa, I saw Nandini, I saw Nagamata, I went to Ravana's palace, I could not find her, then she was committing suicide. He did not say, I have seen Sita. That, again, there also you should understand. Sita is the noun. Sita was seen. If you take it in the passive voice, Sita is the noun, subject. I saw Sita. I becomes the subject, Sita becomes the object, see becomes the past participle of that verb to see. Now, verb comes first, saw. Then comes Sita, Drishta Sita. He doesn't say Sita Drishta. Drishta Sita. Why? Because if I have been asked to see 10 people, Sita, Geeta, Saumya, Rama, Uma, then the person will ask, whom did you see? Then I have to say, Sita, I saw. Geeta, I saw. Uma, I didn't see. When you have a list of objects, you will put the object's name first and verb name next. Whom was Hanuman asked to see? Only Sita. So there is no use in telling Sita first. Because if Hanuman had said, Rama, Sita, then the answer could also be Drishta, na Drishta. So the most important part is seeing and not Sita. So he said Drishta, Sita. Then Hanuman tells, how is she? Kandanam karkinukku adiye kangalal irpirappu என்பதொன்னும் கற்பு என பெயரதொன்னும் கனிநடம் புரியக் கண்டேன். I saw the personification of honesty, sincerity and chastity moving with two limbs, two hands, a moon-like face and two lotus-like eyes and the sesame flower-like nose with a coral-like lips with beautiful ears, loitering here and there. It was not Sita but a personification of chastity. Second, How is she? When Ravana came, she treated him like a very unworthy object. That is when Arunachala Kaviraya states, just 2 more minutes, we will conclude. Panigala varijam pole niram pushi pagaroru yugamaga kaditale dayasi ninaitange Ravana annal vara chichi nillada என்று ஏசி தனித்து தன் உயிர் தந்தை தான் விட மரணாசி சாணும் சமய நீ தேவாசி ஈகாமரம் ஷய ஆராதிட பேசி ராமா 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 என்று பேசி கண்டேன் 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 சீதையை கண்டேன். Tulasidas states, Raghubar ko meri laaj sada sada mein sandhari rumhi garibaz tumko meri laaj Raghubar That is when Hanuman tells, you know Rama, by being one Sita there, she is able to restore normalcy and fame to so many lineages. Unkulam unnadaki uyarpugalukku uruthiyaga tankulam tannadaki tannai tannai seydal vankulam kootrukku ஈந்து வானவர் குலத்தை வாழ்வித்து என் குலம் எனக்கு தந்தாள் எண்ணி செய்வது எம்மோய் states Kandam. Hanuman told, by being a very sincere woman, she adds fame and pride to the place where she was born, to the lineage of Janaka. Today, Janaka can say, my daughter Sita. She adds fame and pride to the legacy of Dasharatha, her father-in-law. She adds pride and fame to you, her husband. You know what, Rama? She has given my clan back to me. En kulam enakku thandal. Rama did not understand. How did she give your clan back to you? Hanuman said, see, I belong to the monkey clan. What is the quality of a monkey? To always be indecisive. Iduva, aduva, aduva, iduva, kshanachitam, 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 kshanachitam. This is what a monkey is always wavering mind. This is the quality of a monkey. I was also like that. Before meeting you, I was thinking, is he the god or is he the god? Is she the goddess or is she the goddess? The moment I saw you in my life, I decided once for all that you are the only Lord. Alodhya sarva shastrani charvyascha punah punaha idam ekam sunishpannam. I decided it is you. So I lost the quality of a monkey because monkey can never conclude. I lost that quality. I decided that it is you. But the moment I saw Sita, my mind again became wavering. It is not Rama, it is Sita. So the wavering quality of a monkey, which is the characteristic feature of a monkey, was given back to me by my Sita. So she has given back my kulam back to me. En kulam enakku thandal. That is when Rama said, I have to give you something in return, Hanuman. But I find nothing with me that I can give you equal to the service. Even if I had the wealth of Ayodhya, even if I could give Ayodhya as a match to you, it will not match to the service that you have done. What can I do? You come closer, he said. Hanuman said, can I come closer to the Lord of this entire universe? What rights do I have? You come, Hanuman. All the monkeys were seeing what will Hanuman around him, whether he will take some ring, whether he will take some other bracelet. Come closer, Hanuman. Hanuman put his hands together and he said, can I come closer? Yes, come. All that I can give is a heartfelt embrace. Apar, paravar, pariha, parivita, parapura, parasuta, davadahana, javana, pavana, bhava, kapivara, parishvanda, bhavita, sarvaswadana. That is when Hanuman said, this is the moment that I will cherish throughout my life, he said. So this is the end of Sundara Kandam. So one who follows the words of Hanuman and the path traced by Hanuman for Rama Bhakti will be blessed with the embrace and the heartfelt embrace of both Rama and Sita. But to relish the importance of Sundara Kandam, one should also know that in this Ramayana, Sahasranama Tattulyam. So there is Mandala Abhishekam which is happening. So for this temple, Since it's a newly constructed temple, Mandala Abhishekam is an essential component of a newly constructed temple. It has been happening, Mandala itself is for 48 days. The 47th day and the 48th day apparently happen to be weekends. That is Saturday and Sunday. The coming 27th, this Saturday and 28th. So I would request all of you to kindly participate, make time to participate in the Tirumanjanam, the Abhishekam of the God and the Goddess. And then there is also a Laksharchana which is going to be performed to the Lord Venkateshwara. It is scheduled at 9:30 a.m. and again at 4 p.m. So this is happening on the Saturday 27th and 28th morning there is Suprabhatam and 9 o'clock there is Kalasha Aradhanam, the 48th day, the end of the Mandala. So there is a Kalasha Aradhanam at 9 a.m. and then there is a Unjal Seva in the evening on Sunday which is at 6 p.m. So I would request all of you to kindly make time and bring your children and also participate in this event. Since temple is not a public place for us, temple is our home. As per our religion, we believe that temples are our houses and people who reside there, both Perumal and Taya, are our mother and father. So we are going to come to our fathers and mothers' place. Our father and mother, they are going to cook food and give it to us as prasadam. So it's a unique event for us. I would request all of you to participate. As I've been telling, there is a chip that is available for say 220 hours of Tamil lectures. Now we have come to the close of Sundara Kandam. So we have completed 5 cantos. Tomorrow I will be talking about 3 important things. One is Hamsa Sandesham. That is an imaginary Sanskrit poem written by Vedanta Deshika where Rama sends the message to Sita through a bird called Hamsa. It's called Hamsa Sandesham, a kavyam of 110 verses. Those of you who can understand, you may go to YouTube and watch my lecture for 13 hours on this work. It is in Tamil. Nevertheless, I will be talking about a few verses tomorrow from this work. Point 1. Point 2. Vibhishana Sharanagati, which is the epitome of all Sharanagatis in Ramayana. Third, Rama Pattabhishekam, which is the coronation of Rama. So tomorrow being Friday, Sitaya Saha. So the importance of Sita and Rama will be covered in this Pattabhishekam. So please do be present at 6:30. Today I have made a delay of 11 minutes when I started the lecture. I seek your forgiveness for this delay. Kaitarthika Simhaya Kalyana Gunasharani Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha.